Hello there, I'm Red Player, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a combat animation mod for Kenshi. This is my second take on this tutorial. The first one was a very long one, which I recorded while making my mod, but this time I'm going to focus on minimalism and hopefully you guys will be able to figure out everything else. So, let's get started. So the first step is to download and install Blender. You can get it from blender.org. Next we need to install the Kenshi plugin from Blender. There are actually two plugins available. One shows up on Google and it's not very good. The other one is actually good, but it doesn't show up on Google for whatever reason. I will leave a link in the description so you can get the right one. Go to where it says tags, click on the latest version and download the zip file with the big number. Now we need to open Blender and go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, Install and select the zip file that we downloaded. Click on Install Add-on, go to the search box and type in Kenshi. Click on the checkbox to enable the add-on and now we can import the models from Kenshi. First, we need to delete everything that's on the viewport right now because we don't need it. So select everything and hit delete. Go to File, Import, Kenshi.ogre and navigate to your Kenshi game folder. From there go to Data, Character, Meshes, Female Skeleton and select the Female Skeleton file. Hit Import Mesh and now we have the model, skeleton and animations from Kenshi on Blender. Be sure to save your project by hitting Ctrl S and save your Blender file wherever you like. Next, click on this icon over here and select Non-Linear Animation. Here we can see all the animations from Kenshi. We are going to select one, duplicate it and use it as the base for our animation. Rename the track and action strip to the name of your animation. Then go to the right panel and on the search bar type the name of your animation. Make a single click on the green item to highlight it. Now click your search and go to Female Skeleton, Animation, NLA Tracks and find the highlighted item. Open it and rename the thing inside it to the name of your animation. Be sure that everything has the same name so that the game recognizes it correctly. Select the action strip we just created and press Shift and Tab to edit it. Go back to the 3D viewport, change to pose mode, and now we can start making our animation. You can move on this timeline over here, make a pose, and insert your changes with I and Alt changes. Select the bone with your cursor and rotate it with R. You can also use RY to rotate the bone on the Y-axis of the map, and with RYY you can rotate the bone on its own Y-axis. The same thing applies to C and X, so RX for the map's X-axis, RXX for the bone's X-axis, RC for the map's Z-axis, and RCC for the bone's Z-axis. Make your animation by inserting poses at different times. Since we are modifying an animation from the game, you will probably want to remove some of the original keyframes to insert your own. If you are copying from another game, animation, or movie, make sure that you look for reference so that your mod looks as similar as possible. Also watch the 12 Principles of Animation by Alan Becker to understand the basic animation theory. For Falcon Punch, I copied the 4 most important frames and then I added some extra frames in between to correct some errors and make the animation look more fluid. These are called in-between frames. Make sure to save your project every 3 or 5 minutes to avoid losing your progress. Once your animation is finished, it's time to make a version for the opposite gender. To do this, create a new file, delete everything, go to Import Ogre.mesh and this time open the male skeleton. Go to File, Link and navigate to the Blender file of the female version. Open it and go to Action. Here you will find the animation that you made for the female version. Select it and click on Link. Go to Non-Linear Animation, make a new empty track, rename it and move the time cursor to 0. Now go to Add and type in the name of your move. If we open it with Shift Tab and go to the 3D viewport, we should see that it's exactly the same as the female version. If we go back to the female Blender file and make a change, it will be reflected on the male version as well. Be sure to keep these files together, because the male version won't work without the female one. Next we need to prepare our file for exportation. In the NDA editor, delete all the action strips and tracks, except for the one that's exclusive to our mod. Save your file and now we only have the necessary data for our mod. Now it's time that we actually make the mod for Kenshi. To do this, open the model tool. It should be available as an option on Steam when you open Kenshi, but you can also run the forgotten construction set that you can find on the Kenshi folder. Click New Mod and give it a readable name that is easy to find on the mod list. And please, for the love of God, make sure that the name that you use for your mod file is the same name that you're going to use on the Steam Workshop. Don't do that bullshit where when I subscribe to your mod, it's called More Animations, but then I try to find it on the mod list to disable it for whatever reason, and I can't find it because the mod file is named Extra Moves instead of More Animations. Use the same name on the mod file and on the Steam Workshop. If you don't do that, I will find you. Okay, let me go back to my tutorial voice. Now go back to Blender. Go to the 3D viewport and select the body and skeleton. Go to File, Export, kenshiogo.mesh and navigate to the Kenshi folder. Go to Mods and find the folder for the mod that we just created. Name your mesh file to whatever you like, but be sure to indicate the gender of your character. Also make sure to check the Export Skeleton and Export Animation boxes. Once all of that is done, hit Export Mesh. And now open the file for the other gender and repeat the same process. Once we have the mesh and skeleton files for both genders, we can go back to the modeling tool. Open your mod and go to Animation Files. Right click the empty space and create a new item. Name it with the name of your move and add file at the end. Next, specify the location of your skeleton files. Now go to Races, find a race that will use your animation and open it. On the select box, choose Animation File, click Add and select the animation file for your move. Repeat the process for every race that will use your move. Now go to Animation, Combat Techniques and copy a move from the game that is similar to the one you made. Rename it to the name of your move. And now we need to specify a few parameters. Pause the video right now to see what's the purpose of every value. Be sure to have Blender open for reference. Once you are done with the parameters, save your mod. If your move has more than 2 hits, check the comments because I want this video to be short. For testing, we are going to need a testing mod. You can get one of the OP mods from the Steam Workshop, or you can also create a custom mod with a character, squad and start that will allow us to have a proper testing environment. If you do the latter, be sure that your character has the necessary stats for using the move, and that his weapon is of the right type as well. Make sure to delete the other stars from Kenshi so that you don't have to navigate looking for the one you made. Make sure to keep your testing stuff separated for your own mod, otherwise you will have to undo the testing stuff when you post your mod. Once you have both your mod and your testing mod ready, start Kenshi with these two loaded and start a new game. Now you can test your mod in-game and see if it works correctly. Adjust the parameters on the modding tool and keep testing until your move works as intended. Once your mod is ready, you can open the FCS. Make sure this time that you open it from Steam because we are going to post it. Be sure to select your mod and not the testing one and open it. Now click on the Steam Workshop button. Enter a name, a cool description and an image. I suggest that you use a GIF animation to get more traction. Whatever you do, make sure to have a video or GIF ready for showing how your mod looks in-game as well. Click upload and congratulations! You have made your own combat animation mod and shared it with the Kenshi community. Thanks for watching and have fun modding. Bye bye!